You may not know this, mate, but Australia's the world's biggest island. This means we have a lot of coastline, some 50,000 kilometres of it. That's a lot of beach, mate, a lot of sand. And so it's little wonder that when combined with our relaxed lifestyle and tropical heat, the beach is one of our most important cultural institutions. But unlike the outback, mate, which is also important in terms of our cultural identity, the beach plays a practical role in our lives. That is, mate, unlike the outback, we actually go to the beach and spend a lot of time there. Think about it, mate. Most of Australia, really, is just barren, isolated, kill you in half an hour if given the chance, desert. The outback, mate. By contrast, if you head to the coast, you'll find some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Where would you live, mate?
God, bloody whoop-whoop all right. No wonder we all live by the bloody beach.
Well, what do I do?
Oh, just keep driving, mate. One way's as good as another, but there's got to be some bloody thing around here somewhere.
In fact, mate, some 80% of us live in coastal areas. To us, the beach is somewhere to go to increase the enjoyment of our day and to escape Australia's often tropical summers. What an absolute stinker. Even an icy cold coldie can't help in this sort of heat. There's only one thing for it. I've got to go to the beach. I don't want to look like a right Nigel out in the waves, though. I might give that bludgeoning bastard Jono a call. He can keep me company. Almost all of us coastal dwellers have grown up with the beach. It's somewhere our parents took us to cool down over the Chrissy holidays. It was somewhere we could make sandcastles, learn how to body surf, bury ourselves up to our neck, and have sand fights with our brothers and sisters. And don't forget the Arvo ice block for the kids, and a couple of icy cold beers for Dad in the surf club. That's the Australian summer, mate. Beats being snowed in if you ask me. Anyway, moving on to the important area of beach lingo. If you don't know the beach lingo, mate, then there's a chance you won't be able to get dressed for the beach. You might even swim in the wrong spot and get swept to your death. And you wouldn't want that, would you, mate? But first things first. If you're going swimming down under, then the first thing you need is your cossie. That is, mate, your swimming costume. Well, it's called a cossie in Sydney. In Perth, people wear bathers. In Brisbane, togs. Sometimes they're just called swimmers. But that's a bit boring, isn't it, mate? Now that we're started, what about those tight-fitting little numbers fit blokes like to wear? The fat blokes tend to wear boardies. Board shorts, they call them, when they go for a swim. But the trim blokes wear speedos. Well, they're called speedos if you're being polite. If you're not, then they can be called DTs in Brisbane, which is short for dick togs, or ball huggers, or CJs in Perth. Or mate, more recently, they're called budgie smugglers by those in the know. Some wags also call them dick dacks, or dick stickers, or even fish frighteners. Of course, not everyone appreciates an Aussie bloke showing off his wares like this, whatever he calls them.
Struth, Brucey, what's going on with the old budgie smugglers, the old DTs? Mate, have you lost your bloody mind? You'll scare the white pointers away.
Oh, bugger off, Jono. Just 'cause you've got a pot belly doesn't mean that a trim bloke such as myself can't wear his togs. Mate, you want to attract the white pointers, then, mate, you got to have the bait. These DTs will be like chum in the water, they will. Mate, we'll need to fight the old Sheilas off with their boogie boards. You mark my words. You might also wear your sunnies, mate, if you're walking around and don't want the sun getting in your eyes. And probably your zinc, to keep the cancer at bay. And mate, once you're actually at the beach, you'll come across all sorts of people. There are surfies, of course, who surf. Just make sure you don't drop in on them if you're learning, or you'll be in strife. The baby surfers learning the trade are called grommets. You'll know them, mate, because they'll be about 10 years old, have bleached hair,
and be as thin as a rake. Just a bit of history, mate. In the 80s, the coastie types were called skegs. You knew them because of their surfy lifestyle and bleached hair. There's still a few about, if you know where to look. And of course, where there are surfies, there are often skaties, with skate rings next to the beach, so the kids don't get bored and break into your car. Venturing out onto the water a little bit, mate, you'll find boaties, enjoying their days fishing, and doing very little really. Not a bad wicket, is it, mate, this beach lifestyle? Well, it's not a bad wicket, except for the things that can kill you.
Will there be any jellyfish at the beach?
I don't know, mate. Why?
Just that bloke carked it the other week after getting stung by a jellyfish.
Mate, that was in North Queensland. None of the jellyfish can kill you down here. Although those blue bottles might hurt like buggery.
Don't worry too much, mate. We normally just say that to scare the tourists. Look, if you get in the water in most parts of Australia, normally at worst, you'll be stung by a non-lethal, although potentially very painful, jellyfish. Well, that's unless you happen to stumble across a blue-ringed octopus. They tend to hang out in rock pools where little kids like to paddle about.
What about blue-ringed octopuses? They killed a bloke as well, didn't they?
I don't know, mate. Look, if you see one, don't touch it.
Apparently he died 5 minutes after touching it. He couldn't breathe.
Mate, I don't want to know about that. Anyway, it's normally only kids and old people who cark it from that sort of thing. You'll be right, mate. Just keep your fingers to yourself.
Got that, mate? Don't touch it. Similarly, mate, if you happen to see any of our friendly but deadly sea snakes, just make sure you let them check you out without bothering them.
What about snakes?
What do you mean, bloody snakes? We're going to the bloody beach.
I mean, sea snakes. Australia has all the deadly snakes, including sea snakes.
Look, mate, I'm starting to get a bit snaky myself with all this nonsense talk. So just shut it, would you?
Sea snakes normally hang out in certain little areas though, mate, like the killer jellyfish. Unfortunately, sharks are a little less predictable.
What about sharks?
What?
Noah's Arks, mate. Sharks. Sharks kill people too.
Sharks? Crikey, Jono. How many of those beers have you had? You'll be right, mate. No one dies from shark attacks.
Someone died last month, didn't they? Over near Perth.
Yeah, well, he was just unlucky, mate. Look, the only sharks you'll see around this beach will be the old white pointers. Who doesn't want to see them?
Well, I suppose you're right, Brucey. I was worried about the crocs in the surf too, but that's only up north with the killer jellyfishes. Anyway, I've got me pool chair. That should make me feel better.
Yes, it should, Jono. Just focus on that, mate. Oh, here we are, mate. Paradise.
Some people say you should poke them one in the eye if they try and attack you. I'll let you try that as an exercise, mate, to see if it works. Anyway, enough deadly animals. You're at the beach, and you've decided to have a swim anyway, just like all the locals. Beauty. Where do you swim? In Oz, mate, you swim between the red and yellow flags.
Good thinking, Brucey. Hey, Brucey, we'd better swim between the flags, eh, mate? Wouldn't want to be caught in a rip and get swept to our deaths like that bloke on TV the other week.
No, Jono. No, we wouldn't want that, would we?
A lot of people do get swept to their death, mate. Hundreds every year, in fact. But almost no one carks it if they swim between the flags. That's because our lifesavers save you if you get into strife. You see, mate, lifesavers make something like 100,000 rescues each year. And they're all volunteers, mate. That's right. They don't get paid a penny. They just do it because they enjoy it. And it's a hit with the ladies. And of course, mate, it's a deep part of Aussie culture. They start off as nippers, and then our boys do all sorts of training, on the beach and in the water. And eventually, they become lifesavers. Not lifeguards, lifesavers. You'll be able to identify them because of their sun-bronzed bodies and their distinctive red and yellow caps.
Oh, mate, your lifesaver?
Nah, I'm a bloody owie. What do you reckon?
So now, mate, you're at the beach, you know where to swim, and you know what to do if you're in strife. But the question remains, what do you do with all your valuable stuff? So no one will flog it.
Where should I put me car keys?
Oh, just in your shoe, mate. No one will think you're looking in there.
Thank God our thieves never worked that one out, eh, mate? Anyway, the beauty of the beaches, and the beauty of most of ours, is that they're free. In a lot of older countries, mate, without naming names, you can't seem to enjoy yourself in society without having a lot of dosh. In those places, the only fun things to do involve going out in the town and paying £6 a pint, or travelling to another country. But if you don't have the dosh, you can't have the fun. But in Oz, mate, there's heaps and heaps of stuff you can do without a lot of money. Like go to the beach, for example, or spend time in our beautiful national parks, or even the parks in the city, where there are public and free barbies. It's for this reason, mate, that so many Aussies live by the beach for lifestyle reasons. They aren't chasing money. A lot of them are on the dole. Back in the golden era of welfare payments, there were more dole bludgers living by the coast than you could poke a stick at. It wasn't a lot of money, the dole, but it was enough to pay the rent and buy a few stubbies after a hard day's surfing. Doesn't sound like too bad an existence, does it, mate?
Oh, mate. That's the thing about the Australian lifestyle.
What's that, mate?
Well, mate, I was just thinking about all those bastards in their high-rises, in those richer countries, with their fancy foreign ways, and pockets full of cash.
Yes?
Well, mate, see, this is the thing. The joke's on them. Here we are, floating around in bloody paradise, when all those jokers are putting in the hard yards, working their rings off. Bloody hard yakka day in, day out. And for what?
Dosh?
Yeah, but to do what, mate? Buy a bloody flash apartment? Go on a holiday in the 3 weeks they get off a year? Mate, I'm telling you, life just doesn't get any better than this. You can't buy better than this, mate. You wouldn't be dead for quids.
Suppose. Could do with another cold beer, though.
Crikey, mate. You can have a cold beer when we get out. There's plenty of a cold beer, and that's all part of it, mate. All that cash means nothing if you can't enjoy the simple Aussie pleasures of outdoor living, beautiful beaches, good mates, cold beers, and friendly Sheilas.
But of course, mate, not everything goes to plan. Sometimes there really is trouble in paradise.
Cripes, oh bloody mighty. That's a bloody shark. Jono! Jono! Get out of the water, mate!
What's that, Brucey? Just one beer will be fine, mate. Oh, hang on. Make it 2. Ah!
Jono! Mate! Jono!
But then of course, mate, just as well you are down under. You've got your mates to look after you in your hour of need.
Hang on. Jono? You there, mate? Jono! You poor bastard! The shark's eating your bloody arm! Mate! Don't worry, mate. I'll get some help.
Bloody oath you'll get some help, mate. Me arm's been munched off. Mate, me arm! Brucey, you gotta help me.
Oh, don't worry, mate. I'm your mate. I'll look after you, mate. That's what mates do. Here, mate. Have this icy amber nectar. That'll make you feel better.
Not that hand, mate.
Oh, sorry about that, mate.
Oh,
You right there, Jono?
me stump's bleeding.
Oh, mate, hold it up in the air.
Okay, mate. Brucey, there are flies buzzing around me stump.
Are you sure, mate?
Yeah, mate, it's bloody feral. The bloody feral flies are buzzing around me bloody stump.
I'll just blow on 'em, mate. You'll be right.
Anyway, mate, Aussies love scaring tourists by talking about killer animals and death by the environment. The truth is, mate, is that us Aussies love the beach, and it really is one of our simple pleasures. Be sure to make it one of yours as well.